Going to continue on now. We are joined by Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12 Menards Wrangler Riggs Workwear Ford. Thanks for coming in, Ryan, and we're going to go ahead and jump into any questions on the floor. Start back there with Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires.net, Performance Racing Network. Your thoughts coming in here to Kansas and what you have to do performance-wise to advance to the next round?
Yeah, I mean, we got to obviously most likely win the race, from where we are in points and how much we have to make up and where, the couple drivers that are ahead of us that are in, 14, 78, they run 78's lights out here, and 14 will run good, and Brad too. So try to have to win the race. It's going to be hard to kind of points our way in, but, we'll do the best we can to make that happen. But this is a good track for us. I couldn't think of another, track to try to go to win at. We had a good shot at it multiple times, especially the first race this year before I wrecked ourselves. But yeah, it's a good place for us. So hopefully we can have a shot at it come Sunday and try to move on. So.
And go back there to Alan.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. I know you compete against Brad every week, but on a week like this, an elimination race where it may be one or the other, one of the Penske guys or the other, do you talk more? Do you talk less? I mean, what is that like when you're racing against a teammate and for such a position?
Really no different. We don't quiz each other before any week, whether it's, the second race of the year or this race. It's just you just talk between teams and try to work together the best you can and just try to do well. So, yeah, it's really no different. Brad and I have always been very open with each other, and which has been great. And but no, it really won't be any different. You're just trying to focus on what you need to do to win, like you do every single week. Trying to make it bigger than what it is, even though it's our season, pretty much. Our chance at championship is this weekend, but you try to let that distract you. You try to go out and do the best you can. But between Brad and I, it's really no different. We still work together and try to make our cars the best we can, between talking in between practices a little bit, or after happy hour tomorrow, to try to figure out where our cars are and what we're going to do to change to get better. So that has pretty much stayed the same.
I'll go over to Pat.
Pat Nicola, NASCAR.com. If you were to be eliminated this weekend, how would you reflect back on the season?
Yeah, I mean, if you're eliminated this weekend, you look back and say, well, if this would have happened, this would have happened. If we wouldn't have run out of gas last week, we'd be, I think a little bit ahead of the cut line right now, but there's nothing you can do about that. So, but, I might have not worded it the best before. If we don't transfer, it's not the end of our year. We still have 4 races left to try to go win, and you can still run, 5th in points. So you just, it'd be disappointing if you don't, but you try to move on from that the best you can. But right now you're just focused on trying to figure out how to win this one and keep moving on and keep surviving. But it's been a good year for us. It's been kind of up and down, and we've shown speed. And you'd like to have some races back, just like everybody, that you can redo, but you just try to learn from those the best you can. You can't change anything about that now. You just try to learn and make it better for next year. But really, I haven't really even thought about that. You just focus on the current weekend. Yep.
Let's pop right back.
Tyler Jones, KLW in Lawrence. Ryan, what was the transition like from going from the Wood Brothers to Team Penske? How smooth has that gone for you this year?
Oh, it's been a long time since I heard that question. No, it's been fine. It's been really easy. We were pretty much settled in. I want to say in the off season, but even the first couple races, a lot of people from the Wood Brothers group on that car came over to the 12 car. There were a lot of Penske employees that brought over. The crew chief, 2 engineers, a lot of pit crew members, mechanics. There's really only 3 or 4 new people on this team from last year, so that's been really nice. Everyone gets along with each other, and the new guys we added. The guys from last year or 2 years ago, they've worked with them at some point in their career, so that's been super easy. Really the main difference is I just don't get to see Eddie and Len and Leonard every single weekend, all weekend like I used to. I still try to pop over there, and Leonard finds me pretty much for every race, which is nice. But it's been pretty easy, and that's been a nice transition.
We're going to go over to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Obviously, you're strong here in the spring, but Harvick, Busch, and Truex have been strong at this track the last couple of years. In particular, Kyle Larson was strong also. He's in a must-win situation. So, how do you win this forget about the other 35 guys, but just try to beat those guys who have been so strong here. And I know you've been good, but that's
Yeah.
still a level to.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've run right with those guys here, to be honest with you. You know, yeah, it's gonna be tough for sure. Those guys have been great. You know, you throw Brad in that mix. Brad's been good here before too. So, you know, there's 3 guys that are outside the cut line that have run really good at this racetrack. You know, Larson, like you said, in particular, he's run great here. Harvick's been lights out. Truex, who's on the bubble, he's been great here. So it's going to be a really, really tough race. You're going to want to be watching, you know, these 3 or 4 cars that are, you know, racing their guts out for this transfer spot, either to try to beat them in points or win the race. And it's going to be a tough race for all 400 miles. So I try not to focus on the other cars too much. I just try to figure out how to get our car the best we can. And, you know, if the best we can do is, you know, run second or third, and we know we tried our best. But I do believe the best we can do here is win the race. And we've had opportunities to do that here, and we just haven't really made it happen. So it's just trying a matter of closing out the race and trying to do that. So it'll be a tough one for sure, but that's what we race for. We race for tough races and challenges. And when you can overcome those challenges and do well and you know, come away victorious, that's why we do it, and make you feel good to put all that work in and try to make it happen.
Let's scoot to the back of the room.
Rich Colbert, Motor Racing Network. Looking to next week at Martinsville, you've progressively gotten better at that track every time you've gone there. Is that a place that you're figuring out? Do you like that place? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's been that place was a struggle, you know, and even trucks, I didn't really run very good there. We ran 5th a couple times, but like in 2000, we ran both those races in 15. When we did a part schedule with the Wood Brothers, and then 16, 17, man, those were tough years. And actually, I thought the fall race last year was pretty good for us. We ran well, and this year, leading a bunch of laps, winning stage, and finishing 3rd, that was a big confidence booster for us. We worked really hard in the off season to try to get better at that place, because I struggled pretty bad there, and I thought that was the main issue. And we worked super hard to try to figure out what we needed to do to get better there, whether it was, you know, me driving it, where the car needs to be. We worked so long on that racetrack, but I think it's finally coming around, I'd like to say. And so that part's been nice, because, you know, I grew up 45 minutes from Martinsville. I grew up closer to Martinsville than Charlotte. And so that's pretty much almost a home race for me. And it's nice. I always hated running bad there, because it was a race I really always went to watch my dad run. And it's just a cool event. And, you know, it meant a lot for the Wood Brothers, them being from Stewart right down the road, and that kind of sticks with you. So, yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, so it's nice to finally kind of be hopefully coming around there to where we can have consistent good runs at that racetrack.
We have any other questions? All right, we'll start right here with Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Ryan, I know you can't go back and change anything, but when you look back at 2018 and look at the plate races, is that going to be like a source of some regret for you and the team about just how it went?
The plate races? Yeah, I mean, you look back at the plate races and try to remember them in the 500. We had a good shot to win and just got caught up in some mess, and can't remember what happened. In Talladega race, we kind of ended up getting some damage, and the July race we got tore up in the beginning, and Talladega we ran out of gas. So I personally enjoy plate racing. I think it's been fun. I don't have the best plate race finishes, but we've run pretty good in all those races, and it's kind of hard to get to the end of those. So I don't know. You try not to dwell on that stuff too much. You just look at them, like I said, and try to figure out what you could do different. When you rewatch races, maybe you draft differently or make some different decisions in certain situations. But yeah, the 500 for sure. You know, you kind of look at it, you're like, man, I wish we could have done this a little bit different. But you just try to learn from that stuff, and you don't dwell on it too much, and constantly think about it, because that eats at you. But no, you just try to, you know, when you look back at it, and you just get ready for the 500, see what you can do there. So.
Go to Lee and then Alan.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. Just curious, you're really good buddies with Chase Elliott, and he finally, you know, won a couple of races this year. Has it taken some of the pressure off of him, or have you seen anything, you know, different in his demeanor since winning?
Not really. You know, I think it's you know, I think he and that team were kind of past due. I think they deserve to win a couple races before this year. at least a couple. And it was nice to finally see him, everything work out for him and him put together, some great races. And I think it's, he's more than deserving of it. And I don't think he's really changed much. He's always been kind of a easygoing guy and just races super hard and knows what it takes now, I think, to win these races, which is good for him. And he's going to have obviously a great career. But it's really nice to see him win. But I haven't really noticed a change in him. Like he isn't more relaxed or anything like that. He's always just kind of been relaxed, no matter how good or bad things were. He's always just been that way. But I think once that door is opened up for him, it's going to open, a lot more for him as far as the win side and just being able to accomplish that a lot more. So hopefully we can keep up with him.
Alan?
When you do look at this track, why is it so good for you here? You seem to perform here. Is there any one reason you think of?
I think there's a couple reasons. It's a obviously we've always run pretty good on all 1.5 miles and a place where you can search around the racetrack a lot. It's good. And the on throttle time, I've always been kind of a heavier right foot person, and this track just kind of welcomes that with being pretty grippy and things like that. But I made my first start here in 2014 also. I think that always holds a special place with you wherever you get your first start in any series, and Cup Series in particular, and then things like that. So I don't know. I think just the way the track is, the on throttle time, and it's pretty fast and grippy, and that's always kind of suited me, and you can search around. So just kind of the way I've always been. That's not a good thing at other tracks, I think, of the on throttle time and wanting to be wide open. That hurts you at the worn out places. But it just seems to work here, just the way the track is.
We're going to wrap up with Bob up front.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. I know you were obviously frustrated at the end of last week, but did you talk to NASCAR at all about the length of that last caution?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I was frustrated after it. Just like anybody, who ran out of gas, and the 41 car, me, the 4 ended up running out, I think, and you're frustrated. And honestly, that one lap, I didn't really get why we ran an extra one, but it's not my call to make. At the time, you're wondering, and at the time you think you know everything, but there's a reason. There's a rhyme and reason why they did that, and I can't really tell anybody how to do their job. It's not my place to do that. So I haven't talked to them. Just the way that is. Yeah, you're frustrated for an hour after the race, especially for the 5 minutes after you get out of the car. But you kind of get over it. But no, I haven't spoke to them just because it's in the past, and nothing you can do about it now. So.
All right. Well, before we finish up, it looks like you're sporting a little bit of a new look this weekend on your car and everything. Is there anything you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. I'm really excited to be, a new partner of ours, VF and Wrangler and Riggs, and that came about, I want to say a couple months ago, and they're in Menards, so it's nice to have these new companies come in and be primaries on the car. That really means a lot, and it's pretty cool to have the Wrangler brand back in NASCAR. I think that's been pretty special. It's been nice to meet everybody. I got to meet everybody in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, at the Menards Vendor Day, and it was cool to meet everybody from this company. So really excited to have them on board, especially at a big race like this. That's pretty neat, and they're going to be on our car here for the next couple of years. So that means a lot. New people coming into the sport. That's huge, and you don't see that a lot nowadays. So I think we've been doing a good job at getting these new partners on board this year between Wrangler and VF and Body Armor and things like that. There's a couple new ones coming in that I think is healthy for the sport. So it's been nice, and looking forward to the future with these folks. Hopefully we can have a big weekend for these guys. So
It's fantastic. Well, thanks for coming in and joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks.